And as you can see, again, the owners have done a whole bunch of work here. They've taken out gyprock, they've replaced gyprock, they've repainted. There's a new kitchen that's gone in, and we've just done some research. We've pulled out some power points and some light switches throughout, and as you can see on the wiring here, there's a whole bunch of mud, which is fair enough too, right? Because the water's, you know, come up to varying heights and varying levels, but we're finding mud in all sorts of places, and this cabin, you know, is sort of supposedly ready to go. One of the things about the chlorine dioxide injection, certainly into the wall cavities, but throughout the whole dwelling, is that it'll kill everything. You know, all bacteria, all species will be killed. We all know that the mud that comes through a flood, you know, is pretty nasty stuff. It's come from further, you know, up the river. There's, you know, I don't need to tell you what's come down in that mud. And it's pretty much impossible to be able to clean all the mud out from every little nook and cranny. So other than just annihilating the mold, the other benefit and advantage of the injection of chlorine dioxide gas into the cavities and into your cabin is that it will get rid of any other nasty as well that's been lingering around from that mud that's come through. With that said, this cabin again there's a lot of work that's been done to it, but we have found inside this PowerPoint cavity, just here behind the tiled splashback, there's a timber frame that runs just down this part here, and when we get the torch in, we can see the growth of mold in behind there. So look, everything's pointing towards the fact that there's mold inside the cavities of these cabins, irrespective of how they look after a fresh coat of paint. There's absolutely going to be mold inside the cavities. So we're going to inject chlorine dioxide gas. We're then going to do a fog application of a long-lasting anti-fungal product, and that should do the job. We've just taken off a power point in the kitchen behind the tiled splashbacks, and we've just shone the torch in there to have a look, and we've just found the growth of mold inside the wall cavity. So, you know, this is all just confirming what we feared or what we suspected, and that is that there's mold inside the wall cavities of these cabins. Righto, so we're just back at cabin where we've just let the chlorine dioxide gas go off for about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours. It's at its most toxic at about an hour and a half, where it does all its killing, and then it starts to taper off a bit. So we're just going to open the gate again. It looks like there's a curtain drawn in there, but there's not. It's just the gas that's going through the whole cabin. So it's inside the wall cavities, inside the ceiling cavity, and obviously just in through the main living area. So I'm going to pop this open now and maybe zoom in, and we'll just see how thick it is inside still. And we've completed all of the services here that Nanotires offer. The first thing we did is we injected chlorine dioxide gas into the entire dwelling, including into all the wall cavities. And again, the reason that we wanted to put the chlorine dioxide gas into the wall cavities is that we found in behind the splashbacks in this cabin some green mold that was starting to grow on the timber framing. So it's fair to assume that there was green mold that was blooming and blossoming throughout all of the timber framing in the cabin behind the gyprock. The second step to the Nanotires treatment here in Koveda is that we put down a long-lasting anti-fungal product. It uses nanotechnology. It's a really interesting product. We're the only ones that are using it, and it sticks to the surfaces using a silicon base. And it creates some swords, and those swords will penetrate any mold and won't allow for mold or bacteria, fungus to grow. So it's a really cool product that only we can use. So now we're just going to show you two of the outcomes. The first outcome is that the green mold in behind this wall cavity, we can now show has turned a blonde colour. It's dead, gone, hasta miñada, it's done. And the other part we want to show you is that with the silicon nanotechnology treatment that we've done to the walls, you'll see that there's no staining on the walls, there's no run marks, there's just no difference to the finished paint product. in any way, shape or form. So we've done our job, nanotires have done their job. We've gassed inside the wall cavity, we've done a nanotires long-lasting antifungal treatment to the walls, all the floors, the ceilings, all the surfaces that we can access inside cupboards and those sorts of bits and pieces. So there's now very little question as to whether or not there's mould in the cabin and where it's growing and what it's doing. So the investment that they've made will be certified by Nanotires, demonstrating what we've done, the products that we've used, and obviously some pretty cool footage on proof that the products and the services that we've done work.